introducing CA Chethan Dalal, sir. Chethan Dalal is a fellow member of Chartered Accountancy. He is a certified fraud examiner from Association of Fraud Examiners, ACFE, USA. He is the first CFE in Mumbai and one out of a total about 20 in India. He is a certified internal auditor from IIA, USA, and then certified information systems auditor from ISACA, USA. He is a pioneer in forensic accounting and fraud investigation in India. First CFE from Mumbai in 1998. First research project for Institute of Chartered Accountants of India on fraud detection in 1999. He has over 38 years of professional audit experience. Specifically in 2021, he authored the first ever audio-visual book on forensic accounting, propounded a new theory, the theory of inverse logic, in the audio-visual book on forensic accounting. The book embeds 10 videos of case studies. He has conducted first ever course for ICAI on forensic accounting in 2009 and again in 2012 in Hyderabad. Specialization in internal audit, fraud detection and investigations. Presently, a global investigation specialist operating from Mumbai, served since 2009 on the board of India chapter of the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. Served in the post of member of managing committee of the Indian Merchants Chamber Banking Finance and Insurance Committee, and was also on the editorial board of the UK-based magazine Inside Fraud in 2001 and 2. He has authored articles for CFE, CIA UK, CIA IT Audit from USA, ICAI India, and many others. He has conducted workshops and training programs across globe. He has authored many books for ICAI. He has wrote guidelines on detection of fraud, guidelines on internal audit of enterprises engaged in advertising and publicity, study on audit and certification in circumstances of incomplete records, detection of frauds, some case studies, etc. With this brief introduction, I present before you CA Chethan Dalal, sir. Now I request the dignitaries on the dais and then all the managing committee members to join us for lighting the lamp.
सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा
Occupy the seats in the front so that it will not disturb speaker when others are joining, people who are joining.
And thank you Bangalore, thank you all of you, thank you to the committee for giving me this opportunity to come and share my experiences with you. Really appreciate this. I see it's a fairly large number, and it's very nice to see all of you here today morning. I'm just waiting for a caller mic, but I can just start a few things before that. So let me first start with a story which is going to be the beginning, or which is going to be what this session is going to be all about. The world has changed completely today, right? I actually passed my CA 40 and a half years ago, 1983. I don't know how many of you were born after that. I'm sure quite a few of you must be born after that, right? Can you just raise your hands for me to see? Yeah, not bad. I would say most of you have been born after that. In my time, when I became a CA, we never saw a computer. We didn't know what a computer looked like except what we saw in some books or some papers or something like that. The first PC came in the 90s, I think. And then there was PC, PCXT, PC, and so on. And now, of course, you have laptops and ThinkPads, iPads. Now, virtually, your cell phone can do much, much more than what the first computer could do 30 years ago. So this is where we are. Life has changed so much. But one thing, friends, that hasn't changed is the ability to do crime, ability to do wrongdoing, ability to deceive others, ability to do anything that can enrich oneself by shortcut methods. And friends, that is the typical reason why we require people in the world of forensic accounting. So forensic accounting now, friends, is here, it's here to stay, and it is an area where there is a lot of opportunity also given in the foreseeable future. There's going to be a lot of work in that. So even if many of you are in a conventional practice of doing audit and taxation, they're not wrong or not bad, but they are going to taper out. You will find that you'll have to specialize in newer areas, and probably forensics is one of them. And forensics is something where, friends, all of you are already ready to do that, but it's just that you don't have maybe the confidence, or maybe you've never thought on that line that you could actually do something like that. Let me start with a small story which I read somewhere on the WhatsApp, which I felt was very important for you to realize that there is a difference between faith and confidence. Today, if you were given an assignment, you might consider doing forensics, but you may not have the confidence. So it seems, there was this incident in Canada over the Niagara Falls. There was once a certain a show which was going on over there. In that show, at a certain part of the falls, they had tied a string across two ends, and there was one expert, a rope walker, a person who could walk on a rope, who was showing his skills by balancing himself and walking on the rope over the falls from one end to the other, and a big crowd had gathered on the other side to watch that. He very successfully and comfortably walked there on the other side, came back, and the crowd was full of appreciation and applause and everything. They were very, very impressed by that feat that he did. Then he said, I'm going to try another difficult stunt. So he said, I'll take a cycle and I'll go on the cycle on that rope on the other side and come back. So the way he went about it so nicely, so confidently, and he came back, once again, he got a huge round of applause. So by now, everybody in the audience who were looking at that, they had the confidence that this guy can do anything. So he made an announcement. I'm going to try a third thing. This time on my cycle, I'm going to take one more co-cyclist, one more person to come along with me, who will go and cross the entire rope on both the sides and come back. So again, people were confident because the way they had seen him cross the first 2 times, they said that, yeah, this guy will be able to do it. So he said, do you people feel confident that I can do it? They said, yes, you can go ahead and do it. We are sure you will be able to do it. So they said, okay, who will volunteer to come with me on the cycle when I go on the other side and come back? A complete pin drop silence. You know, the way when somebody said, all of you come in the front, there was a complete pin drop silence, no? Everybody had the faith to come, or confidence to come for that seminar, but not the faith that they'll be able to keep awake in the front rows. So that is why you'll find most of the people are sitting on the back rows. Believe me, I don't bite. I don't do anything that will cause any difficulty to you. Do come and sit in the first row, because there are some exciting prizes, etc. I'm going to give for a couple of tests that we have. So it's not too late. Please, all of you can come. So coming back to this story, nobody had the guts, but this guy got somebody, maybe he had his own friend, he did and came back. Now the point here in this entire story was that each of us in life, we know that we can do something, we have some confidence we can do it, but we don't have that faith to carry out that particular activity. We all know this is possible, this is there, but when it comes to actually executing or doing something, you fall back. This is where life is all about. Today we are looking at forensics as a subject. You don't want to leave your usual work of taxation, you don't want to leave your usual work of audit and go into this. Try to make it. Sometimes a little sacrifice also has to be made, but if you do that, the rewards will be unbelievable, because you're getting into an area where your actual skill sets. Today as chartered accountants, when you are doing, let's say, an income tax consultancy work, or you're doing an audit, hardly 10 to 15% of your actual skill sets are used in that. You're doing more of compliance work, more of, regularly laid down programs and robotic kind of work. But when you get into this world of wrongdoing and crime, you really have to use your skill sets, and it's an enjoyable field. That's why, friends, I urge you to think of this forensic accounting as a line, as something that can give you not only, hopefully, a good bank balance, but an inner sense of fulfillment. So it is with this that I'd like to start today's session. Is the column mic on the way, or is it going to take my second session in that? 2 more minutes, okay. So, no problem. Okay, so let me just start today's session. So today, this doesn't work? Yeah, it works. So today, within the 2 sessions that I have, I intend to do as much of all this that I'm going to tell you just now. One is, of course, I'm going to give you an idea about introduction to forensic accounting, though, of course, we are going to look at a little more advanced level as well, but we'll also look at what is forensic accounting all about. Then, we are going to look at what is the fraud scenario. I want to bring you to the reality in this world as to what fraud can really be about, and why there is such a big need for forensic accounting in today's world. Then, as I told you, times have changed. We are moving into a new world. In fact, we have moved into a new world. So let us look at 1 or 2 digital tools that are available. And these are just illustrations that I'm going to give you. The world is open. If you go to the internet and do research, you'll get many more. Then I'm going to talk about one interesting case study which happened during COVID just a couple of years ago. So the idea is to, keep you also, motivated by seeing some actual real-time case studies that we have had. Then, for those of you who are interested, I'll also give you some typical steps that are required in performing a forensic audit. And we'll use some advanced techniques which can be used both in auditing as well as in forensic accounting, like juxtaposition test, then we have RSF, then we have space-time dimension. All these are, slightly off the normal kind of methods. I only want to show you illustrations that your mind, your imagination has to open. What is the principle that I'm trying to drive home in this session is that if you try to do out-of-the-box thinking, believe it or not, friends, you will get results which you won't be able to get otherwise. If you do the same things, you stagnate, and that is what is important. In today's world, think out of the box, Go where no man has gone before, and believe me, life is colorful and much more enjoyable. And of course, towards the end, I'll just give you my final message, which I always give in this. So this is the kind of agenda that I have in mind. We have about 3 hours, is that right? Both the sessions put together? Okay, so what time am I supposed to stop for your lunch, tea session? 11:30, so it'll be 2 hours first. No, sorry, yeah, it's 10:30, so 11:30 is the first, so after 1 hour you want me to stop, right? And how much is the tea break? Half an hour for tea break. And lunch is how much? Oh my God, Bangalore tea must be really good. I must see that. Okay. So half an hour for tea, and then again 1.5 hours after that, or 1 hour after that. Sure. Okay. So are you all okay with this, the way we are? So at 10:30 we break for tea. And then the real test will be how many of the people will come back for the second session. So there we will be able to see how much of an impact I'm going to make. So hey, by the way, are you recording this? Oh God, so that means I'll have to change gears completely, because I was going to show them some real life cases in this. Is it obligatory to record it? But I will be somewhere else then after this. Okay, I'll have to now be very guarded and careful. Now you must tell me these things. Okay? So it doesn't matter. So we good. Any progress on the column mic? Not yet? Okay, 2 minutes more. Okay, fine. All right. So my first slide, this is the most important slide in the entire 3-hour session, and probably applicable for both the days. All of you see Bollywood movies or not? Do you see? How many of you see? Raise your hands, let me see. Okay, so in that you get some kind of a shot in the beginning. Okay, any resemblance to any character, to any person, to any entity is purely coincidental. And yes, so nowhere will, if I have said that, okay, something is happening in Infosys, I'm not going to say that, but it doesn't mean that it happened there. It is only for academic or demonstrative purposes. Okay, friends, so that is one. And since it's being recorded, all the more reason that I have to say this. Okay, second disclaimer, because I'm going by the tide, what is happening in current times. Okay, cigarette smoking is harmful for health. That is also there. And third, very important, sir, is no animals have been harmed while making this presentation. Okay? But please keep in mind, I'm not sure about you human beings, what is going to happen after these three hours. So anybody wants to keep an appointment with psychiatrists, doctors, etc., you may do so right now. So all these things are the risks that you have to go through if you call me. Bangalore, that is your mistake if you called me. Okay? So these are the necessary disclaimers that I have to say. And I always give 2 options. I think last time also when I spoke, I gave these options. But sir, there are 2 options. First option is, in doing these sessions are, I will give you so much of theory, full of theory, that by the time these 3 hours are over, you will eat forensic, you will think forensic, you will sleep forensic, it will come out of your ears also. So that is one option. Okay, so I'll give you maybe 100 slides and lots of material on forensics. One. Or option 2 is that we'll have some practical time with some fun, some tests, some small light subtle humor here and there, and within that we'll also include some forensics in that. So which of the 2 options would you prefer? Anybody there at the back? Second. Over there upstairs? Second, right? Okay. Now this is, friends, your very first lesson in forensic and fraud. For me, actually, there is no first session. I don't have any theory, nothing. I don't have I can't give you any textbook method of doing fraud investigation. But I can share with you a lot of instances of what we have done, how we've done, where we've done, and all that. Now, if I had told this to the inviting committee at the beginning, I don't have anything to give them, I know only this, then they would have said, no, we cannot take you because this is for CPERs, am I right? Now, they cannot challenge me because all of you have supported me in saying that I can do fun and games here, right? So next time you call me as a speaker, you can also call me for games, fun, quizzes, tests. I'm much better at that than I'm in forensics. Okay, so I do hope that in today's sessions also, at least whether you learn something about forensics or not, I don't know, but at least I hope that you go out with a smile, at least with something to laugh about. Now, therefore, friends, if it is okay with you, sir, no doubt you're all senior managing committee members. For these 2 sessions, may I call myself the CEO? Have I got your permission, sir? Thank you very much. Sir, what is your concept of a CEO? Very good. Now, see, he is a very right and structured approach in his mind. CEO means a Chief Executive Officer. He's not wrong. In fact, he's actually correct. But my definition is different. I am Chief Entertainment Officer, if that is okay with you. Are you okay to change that for these 2 sessions? So we are going to make sure that you enjoy this. Tell me, friends, is there anything wrong if in CPRs also, if you enjoy yourself, or is it necessary that you have to have a grim face or somber face, learn 20 things, do something? Is it necessary? So why can't we tell all our speakers this then? We should make it like that, no? Then more people will come. You will be able to raise your fees from 1,000 to 5,000 rupees. You know, you will have the black marketing outside over there. Okay, so now what is forensic audit? A very simple thing. Now, again, as I said, I'll give you full of the dictionary definitions. Actually, in very simple words, see, any inquiry or even an audit, if you call it, which relates to obtaining evidence which is useful in a court of law. What is most important is this court of law. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Okay. You can hear me? So what is important is this word court of law. When you see the word court of law, basically forensic is all what relates with or relates to any kind of evidence admissible in a court of law. Forget all these definitions. I think you go through this Wikipedia and all that. You have this whole lot of definitions. But the real thing is what I circled. Forensics means suitable for use in a court of law. Anyone remember that? Now, what is the difference between, let's say, a forensic? May I come down and talk to that boy that I call it over here? Hello? Hello? Is that okay? Yeah. So, very simple reason is that audit report, at least most of the audit reports that I remember having done, they express an opinion, right? See, if you say any audit report, it says we are of the opinion. So, an opinion may be accepted by a court, but may not necessarily be because an opinion is not an attestation. Would you agree with me in that? Whereas a forensic audit tantamounts to virtually an attestation. So, if you say, the forensic auditor says that 500,000 crores were the sales for this period, it is not an opinion. He is saying that based on whatever information he has been given, this is the actual value of sales, which is what a court will rely on. The court will not rely on the management is given the representation, they have said this and they have said that, and because most audit firms today do that, no? कि हम लोग ने कुछ नहीं किया है, whatever management has said, we are okay with it. That is not acceptable to a court. You need to put really something more, much more than that.
see quotations, and then you find out which is relevant and L2, L3, right? All of you must have seen these levels, okay? Now, these are some of the pictures that are given for verification of payments. Like a very large company, and you get acres and acres of land over there. They used to have a lot of grass growing. And in order to make the land more scenic and also for use by the company, they had a regular grass cutting. And when you have so much of that, they had multiple vendors, multiple invoices for that. And for grass cutting, what is the proof? Only pictures. So things like this will be available. Then everybody knows what grass, correct? And this is a typical Excel. I was trying to show that Excel. So much of Excel is used in today's world, isn't it? Excel is something which is now a part of every person's life. So this is a typical sheet on Excel. You saw all these documents. Wouldn't we all have believed that these are innocent, believable, audit-worthy documents or exhibits? All of you would have believed. Now friends, this is the same. Were either forged, fabricated, manipulated, or connected with some kind of fraud or wrongdoing in some way or the other. This is just a small example and throw it across to you. That, if you really ask me, you compare a person who commits a fraud with a person who is a, let's say, a burglar, a dacoit, even a terrorist, or even some big time heist robbers and all that. All of these others, they require a weapon in there. Like they require a tangible weapon, whether it's a knife or a spear or a bomb or something like that. Does fraudster require any weapon? He requires only this capability. He observes, he understands, he comprehends, and then moves in for the kill. And he is able to hide his wrongdoing also. So people involved in fraud are at the highest possible level of doing any kind of abuse. And they say, even if you compare a terrorist or 10 people with 10 machine guns, one fraudster can do much more financial damage than what all these others can do. This is where people trust on you that you can unearth, you can detect, you can investigate. So it was very easy to check. Today, those days, if you had to do register scrutiny, you can say, oh, give this, give that, this. You could do a thorough, you could have real confidence that you would be able to do. Whereas in today's world, the audit is easy to understand and how easy it is for people to do wrong to give you an impression of all processes that we follow. The whole body is different. The second thing is, if you had working papers, you collected some copies, you did some audit, you could have things which if you want to do malware at a later time and see here, you have access to a certain time in the system, you have to do within that much time. There are different kinds of course, advantages as well, but the constraints are also very significant. And there is a high degree of reliance on manual procedures in those days that much time. There are different kinds of course, advantages as well, but the constraints are also very significant. And there is a high degree of reliance on manual procedures in those days. So you also, but I'm saying that if you go to the internet and if you look at all these keywords, you will be able to find this. It's a very huge scan of the aviation land project company. What are the things that were told is that if this company had some of the best skilled and senior qualified directors and management, whereas in reality, friends, it was names and sweepers who were some of the directors in this. When they did a further investigation. These are facts. Second, inventories of steel were more than a quarter of $1 billion. So they roasted everything. And inventory is always at up your profits also. So, okay, you have these inventories fine. But when they actually change the storage capacity, see, when you have steel, for steel, is it possible to put in a small product where you have billions of dollars worth of steel? The capacity was not even 10% of what was actually is possible. So this is what we call the test of absurdity or test of impossibility. That something like this is not possible. Friends, as good forensic auditors, or as good auditors, see today when I talk something about forensic audit, most of what I am talking about is applicable to you in your day-to-day audits as well. It's just that we will not be thinking that way. Our mind has been set to think in a particular fashion. And that is why today, not because auditors are not capable, auditors are very capable, but because their entire culture, the way we are doing audits, you have to believe, you believe that Mr. X, he must, basically you say that he is a good human being and you do not want to deceive me. And based on that, appropriate procedures, etc. are given. But it's not so. In reality, life is different. In fact, I must say, I don't know, the attitude will change. Outside the world, you will be a fantastic forensic auditor. But your married life will be complete sin. And by the way, I get along very well with my wife. So I'm not a good forensic auditor. So I can tell you, sir, there is one limitation. You took the wrong person for this. But it's not crores of rupees, and many of them have the same serial number of machines. So these are the little forensic eyes to detail. If you need to develop it, then whatever I have said so far, is it difficult? Is it something that you require a very qualified forensic auditor to come and do this? Then it would be how many of it is? It's only because we never thought of looking at things in a different way. Life is all about looking at things in a different way, trying things in a different way. Look at new things in life and success will be guaranteed. Now, that's their point. Sure, no? Okay. Then what do you think that in front of it's not easy to do those kinds of cancer. If I were to let's say tell any of you, don't worry, you will have finished with the you know nothing will be done. You go into those kind of pain zones and come back. It's not easy because you require a certain kind of ability to be able to do wrong way to receive. It is not a very common ability, but it is there. But fraudsters have this. Therefore, I don't think I'm making a wrongful statement. If I can say that many of these wrongdoers or fraudsters are more intelligent than even us. Because they are able to deceive us. And they are able to deceive us in spite of the fact that we are qualified, we are experienced, we are professionals. And it is not, I'm not saying bad about us. It's just that these people have developed that kind of thing. So this is where we go to the world of fraud and this is what is happening. Now, in very simple words, financial crimes are happening, they are increasing. Intensity of the damage is severe. Every year when the news can breaks down, the numbers keep increasing. No? Where 1,000 rupees or dollars can 5,000, then so many crores, so many lakhs and billions of dollars and all that. The intensity of fraud is increasing. And what we find is that investigation agencies like police and CPE and all these people, they have a lot of good people, but they require expertise. That is why people like us are very necessary for helping the individuals. And as we have the knowledge of finance, we have the knowledge of accounts, we have now developed even digital skills and all that. I think we are in a position to do these investigations very well. So therefore, friends, this is a good introduction to new people to this subject. This is a thing that you people can give it a shot. You will not be disappointed. And you will enjoy it because this work really brings out the best. Now, how do we find out these kind of processes? There are actually, I mean, this is my own brother, for those of you who study any of this commerce or organization of commerce group, he said that man goes by not what he sees, what is reality, but what he perceives. When we say what he perceives means what he thinks he sees. And sometimes what he thinks he sees may not be actually what he sees. Confusion? Good. Next. 3D vision. What is 3D vision? Have people seen any of those 3D films? What are those 3D films? Because the two eyes see an object from slightly different angles. And that is what enables you to gain depth of that picture. In much the same way, if you see any piece of evidence as an object evidence from two different sources, you will possibly be able to find out some subtle differences. That is why we will talk about the juxtaposition test in the second session. For those of you who come back, we will show that also how the two eyes and the two images that we have give you a big idea about the possible differences. And what is that in differences? I'm sure many of you will be wondering why this. I mean, normally an investigator is supposed to be that tough, aggressive guy, catching somebody with a scruff of his collar and come on, tell me where the money is. But that's the worst attitude that you can. You need, without being that, I'm saying, he has been the name of it. You are basically looking for information and evidence. You cannot get it by using muscle power and brute force. Remember that is very important. Sometimes that is the place where I feel that some of these statutory authorities, they go this way. And they say, slap small and he come down to normalcy. Maybe that is okay for a certain class of wrongdoers, like a pickpocket or somebody. Maybe you do that. Though I personally don't agree with that also. But that is not that. But for our class of parents, people who are makers or all that, aggressive talking only helps them to plan or think more differently. But if they can be lured into a sense of a little comfort and with a little more chance of being able to get away with something, they will slip up somewhere and they will give you information which you can use. This is again not my personal suggestion. You may or may not agree with it, but it has helped me a lot if you use this tactic. Disease. So in this, even if it is that black color, if you see this black color which is there, it is misleading your brain. The black color is, thrusting so much into your brain that a particular line which is geometrically parallel, two lines which are parallel, it gives you a feeling that the lines are slanting in different directions. I just try to digest it a bit in our Vedic culture. They say in a scripture that when man is born, the human being is born, he is born with three defects. And what are the three defects? That in his mind he has mala is what English word, dirt, turbulence, and a way of ignorance. This is what the Vedic Shastras. So, for example, I explain it this way. Suppose you take a vessel or a bucket of water and put it in sunlight. Now, you expect to see the reflection of the sun in that, but the reflection of the sun will be possible only and only if the water is not dirty. Suppose the water is full of mud or dirt, what will happen? You will not be able to see the reflection. Similarly, accumulate. The same way, we never do that in our mind. The moment you meditate in your mind, it helps you to become clearer in your thoughts, in your action. In case of phenomenality, I try to get up every day early in the morning and do a little meditation. And with my own humble life, it has helped me a lot. My suggestions to all of you as well. Now, see, if you see this picture, which is the lighter one and which is the darker one? Which part is lighter? No, only these two. No, it's not a shell. It is there. The only problem is, see, this by giving you these pictures, I want to show you how the mind, there is some beginner, because she is very good at all this. So, oh, look. Well, you need to know that. What's the answer? No. This is almost forensics routine. Now, two principles are very important in a document. One is apply what we call the test of impossibility. Can anybody give me an example of the test of impossibility? Sir? Okay, can there be a date called 29th February 1957? Talking with me, and I was advising you on some international affairs. Now, it is possible and easy to get it, but everyone here knows that it's just out of question, not possible. So that is what we call theory of observing. Now, these are the two principles. If you keep in mind, you will be able to see some fallacies in some documents. So what I'm going to do is now it is exam time. So all of you have to now give a test. Okay? So I need some help from this part of it. So I give you that way to see for see you people are all very brilliant people. So I can't give you too much time, right, sir? So normally I would have given 7 to 8 minutes. But for you, 2 minutes is okay? According to you? Well, then let's make it 5 minutes. Okay, I will say 5 minutes, you make it 5 minutes. I will give you 5 minutes and please don't jump up or shout and say this is wrong because then others will also come to know. Just take a piece of paper and write down what you have written because sometimes there are some prizes which I have got also. So we are going to make this interesting. Write your name is important and what are the fallacies those things. But keep in mind the impossibilities or absurdities and one question at the end you must answer is how do you think this bill has been prepared? Can I repeat? How do you think the bill has been prepared? So may I show you the document now? Okay?
Minutes are up, so don't worry. Now you can put down your pens. All okay? Everybody? Okay. Now see, there's so many people here. Normally, my normal procedure would have been to collect the papers and in the intermission, maybe somebody would have helped me to correct them. But I don't think that with so many people, I'll be able to do that. So we'll have to do it in a different way. Let's first have, by a show of hands, how many people found this to be a good, reliable will? How many people feel so? Everybody feels this is not a good will and that it is falsified or fabricated in some way. Am I right? Okay. Now, how many reasons you have? How many people have got more than 2 reasons to say that this will is, these are the reasons why there is a fabrication or falsification of some kind? More than 2. What about upstairs? Upstairs nobody has done? Okay, there is one. Upstairs you are with this seminar only, no? I can't make, anyway, but doesn't matter. Sorry? Oh my God. So can you help me to see how many are there? 3 people only. It's not very much, no? Okay, how many have got more than 3? Wow, very good. How many you got more than 4? 1, 2, 3. No, that I will say, that don't worry. We are going to, you've written. So there are only so many. Sir, can you come out and help me? So it will be easier. Man. Now, so many, just raise your hands again, those with more than 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anybody there on the top? No. How many have got 5? You got 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can we, and one more, can we request them to come here so that we can then get them to give us the answers? Okay.
Give them the cordless mic.
No, because they have to come here and show everybody else. No? Everybody must agree with their findings. No? See, I am not the only judge here. We have got this whole audience to be there. Can you please come? Please come. You are Preeti, I know. What is your name, ma'am? Sushmita. Welcome, Sushmita. In these reality shows, they say, na, आपको यहाँ आके कैसा लगता है? How do you like it? Very good. What are the other people? 2 more people. Come. Nobody gets special invitation. Please come.
He doesn't want to.
Come, no? Arey, but we'll give a prize. No, we've got 4 prizes, so we'll do that. Only.
We don't know whether it's correct. So
No, then that I'm not sure. Okay? Okay. Where is your paper, sir?
It's here, sir.
Okay.
Scribbled, I just say.
Okay. So we have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. So can all of you give me your papers, because we don't want anybody to add afterwards, correct? Everybody's given?
They are not written the names.
Oh, you must have, you'll be disqualified. Who is not, you have written?
Yes, sir, Sandeep.
But Sandeep, there can be 5 Sandeeps here, no? You written? You written?
No, I have written.
But then you have to take your own paper only, yeah? Sorry.
mine is a small slip. It will go.
This one, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry, we'll put ladies first, so you'll get the first chance in that. That's it. Very good. Okay.
I have one for you.
No problem.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so friends, first and foremost, a big round of applause for all these people that they have taken serious note and they have tried to find out, and also, to come and submit this paper, it is something which is remarkable. Because I used to be very scared of large crowds, at one time. Now I'm speaking and all that, but there was a time till about 25 years ago where my friends used to drag me for a seminar, and I would say I will sit in that corner and I'll hide behind so the speaker won't see me. So I must say that's a big, so a round of appreciation from all of us to these people, okay? Now what we'll do is, in order to save time, I've got all these papers, so nobody will be able to now change, correct? And are there any negative markings for giving wrong answers in this? No, we will not do that. We will be kind to people. So I will give the solutions, and then somebody over here, sir, if you can find out which of these people are the closest to that. And we've got 4 prizes, and how many people are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. So 4 people will get claps, and 4 people will get prizes. Is that okay? And for that, what we'll do is, the first and second, we'll get a thumping difference only, but for others, we'll have a draw. Will that be all right? Unless, of course, the institute, somebody is there from the, you are there, no? Can you make up for prizes for the rest of the 4? So everybody should get a prize then. Correct, no? All of you say yes, support me at least. So then all of you will get prizes. What prize you will get, that the institute will decide. Okay? Okay, so shall I give the solutions? Did I give that thing to anybody? Where did I put that pinpointer? Yeah. Grammar or spelling mistakes or poor language, that is not important. What is important is the will falsified, fabricated, manipulated in any way? All of you are okay on that? Okay. So now, one of the first things that PAN. So PAN number did not exist. All of you are okay with that? Okay. Second, how many of you realize that pin code like 400006 was not there prior to 1972? 1972. On I think 15th August 1972, India introduced what we call the 6-digit pin code. Like what is Bangalore's pin code? 56. Bombay's pin code is 40. Delhi is 10. So earlier, like when I was in school, we used to call as Bombay 2, Bombay 3 and so on. We never had this 6-digit code. So if there is any old document where it has a pin code, then you can rest assured that it has been done. We say that. So far everybody is okay? How many of you got all these 3 correct? Don't worry, you're going to be checked here. Yeah. You are all, what's your name, sir? Arun is on a very strong wicket at the moment. He's in comfort zone, as they call it right now, correct? Okay. Next. Signature. What is, anybody can tell me?
Gel pen.
So what about that? Yeah, so
It was not there at that time.
when did it come?
Much later.
Very correct. Felt pens or gel pens, whatever you call them, they came into existence only in 1960, not before that. So this is a very, very good hats off to you. So your prize is there, definitely. Okay, anybody has...
Stamp paper, it should be on stamp paper.
No.
Not necessary font.
Yes.
I have written also font.
Well, this guy is a brilliant, very good. So what is it? Now what is there about the font? You tell me.
At that time, this font was not there.
Font was not there?
No, this typewriter.
So what he is saying is, friends, this is important. Those of you who have seen a typewriter, particularly a manual typewriter, there was only one kind of font that was available and you couldn't have. So here, if you see, the 2 fonts are of different size. So that is a giveaway in this. You also got that. Okay. Okay, and last one is, can you see that the document is justified on both sides? Can you see that? Normally in typewriters, particularly the manual typewriters, you cannot justify it. So this cannot be done in a typewriter which was used in 1958. All are okay with that? Okay. So then how many of you have answered this question? Which instrument was used to prepare this? Anybody? We'll give a special prize for that person. Come on. Which instrument has been used? Anybody upstairs? No.
I think it is done in a computer and printed. That's all.
Yes. Sushmita is correct and so is Preeti. This was done using a normal modern computer, and you know how these fonts are obtained? You can go to the internet and you can download typeface fonts. There is a specific name that you can give for that. They are called typeface fonts. So you will get them with these little bit of errors also, so that it looks like a typewriter which has been used for some time, and you can print this full thing on a computer. So this letter or this will has been printed on a computer. So friends, thank you very much. Thank these people also. Now this paper will go for a forensic audit. So what is your name? Rijo. So Rijo is a very thorough taskmaster in this, okay? You will check who is the best 5 of that. Give us after interval, break ke baad, we will distribute these prizes. Are you all okay with that? And if you want, we can have a group photo now, so that we know that these people are, and the claps for everybody can be given now, if that is okay with you. Come. So Rijo, you have to be here because you are the main. They will give you extra tea in the session and all. They will do everything, but you are not supposed to budge. Huh? Okay? Oh, there is no photographer. There is a video guy, no? And you had a good round of tea. So welcome back. And before we start this part, let us have this very pleasant prize distribution ceremony for the winners. Okay, it will take 2-3 minutes, but I think that will be good, no? So can I request all the people who submitted their papers, because Rijo has gone through each or every one of them, and you've been very, very stringent in giving them marks, right? So please come, Mr. Rijo, you also required. So all of you please come, no? Who are the people who won, or who were there in this? Preeti, Smriti, I remember Arun. Where is Arun? Oh, Arun didn't come back. Okay. Hey, this light is too much. It is really glaring. Can you tone it down a bit? Huh? Then if that option is available, then push it. Hey, I can't see that side, honestly. There were so many brilliant sparks. I thought okay, maybe 2 or 3 only will be there. But clap for yourselves. You people have done very well with this. Huh? Thank you. So, Mr. Riju, what do? We'll do it like the way they have in reality shows. First, we give those who are at the slightly lesser end, and the top winner we'll give in the end. Is that okay?
That's okay, sir.
Okay, so we'll do it in that way. It comes out better that way, no? So, just read out the people who will get the prizes, the general prizes.
Umesh.
Umesh, where is Umesh? Yeah, Umesh, congratulations, very well done. And we are this thing, yeah. The prize is being given.
Came to collect the book.
So, they will give you. Yeah, come on. Is the photographer ready? No, come, please give. Give the book, you have to give him the book. With me? Okay, we will both be there, all right, covered. Okay, all the best, well done. So, big round of applause for him. All the best to you. Huh? Thank you. Okay, next, let's read fast now.
Umesh. Umesh is
Umesh, okay. Yeah, well done, Pradeep. Thank you very much. Okay, then,
Sandeep Reddy.
yes, Sandeep, well done. Very good. All the best.
Preeti.
Congratulations, well done. All the best to you. Thank you. Next,
Next is Thomas Matthew.
Thomas, you are there, right? All the best, Thomas.
Thomas Mathai.
Yeah. Well done. Well done. Okay.
Narsimha.
Well done, Nasima. All the best. Okay. No, we have this. We have how many more? 4, no? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have 4. So, best wishes to you.
Thank you, sir.
All the best. Thank you. And by the way, whichever book you get, all books for me are equally good. Huh? So, don't think he got this book or I got that book. All right? All the best. Okay, next.
Next, we can give to Sudarshan.
Sudarshan ji. With best wishes to you from all of us. All the best. Thank you.
Privilege to receive it from you.
My privilege as well, sir. Thank you. Now we had a big fight, no, between these two. Actually, there were 2 top winners. On one side is Smriti, and on Sushmita, and on one side is Arun. It was very difficult to choose, but luckily we had 2 different books. So we'll give one book to this person and one book to this person, okay? So I'll have to close my eyes. You get one book which I'll give to Sushmita and one book I'll give to Arun, alright? And just because a book is thin or thick, it doesn't mean it is better or less better than the others, okay? Sir, you let the chairman, you're the top man today in this thing, so let him decide over there. Yeah, you only give the prize. These are the top people in today's seminar, so you have to decide.
No, I think you.
No, you decide. All difficult decisions they should take only.
Yeah, probably you.
Okay, all the best to you. Best wishes.
Can you join for the
Of course. Please, where is your husband? We'll get him also. Please come, sir, please come. I want you also in the photograph. Yes, yes. He is also a forensic accountant. No, by the way, he's all the best.
so much.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, sir.
And Arun has also done brilliantly. I must say, you are very good. When you become very big, you remember me. Huh? Don't forget me that time. All right?
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you all, and thank you very much. So, I'm really impressed, and I'm not flattering you people. I'm really impressed with the way you people have, taken that test. It shows, and this is for yourselves. You people are all capable of performing good forensic audits, and it's just that either you're so involved in your regular work and that you're not able to extricate yourself from there, or you are not getting opportunities. Both are possible in that. But try to search, try to get empanelments done, try to get associated with other people in this field, try to speak or try to do research I tell you my way, I'll give you just a couple of minutes suggestions on this to get good work and good quality of practice. You know, it is not a good idea to, you know, have some fantastic, I'm not saying it's bad also to have a website, a glossy paper, you know, brochures, and going and meeting 10, 20, 30 CFOs just to, you know, say that give me work and all that. This is the thing which is done quite often in these days, and I'm not even criticizing it. It's not, I'm saying what really works is if you want some company or some CFO to give you a good assignment, he should have that confidence firstly that you can perform that assignment, right? And where will that come from? If somewhere you have exhibited that you have done some work or some research on this. Up to the year 1998, 99, from 83, if you remember I told you I passed in 1983. From 83 to 1999, I was also doing the same run-of-the-mill practice of waiting outside income tax officer's office for hours together, hoping that he will give me the assessment order, trying to get refunds, trying to get tax clearance certificates, all these things. And it was a maha frustrating experience. I'm not using frustrations, it was an extremely frustrating experience. And in those days, again I'm telling you very frankly, I was a very much of an introvert. I could not speak in front of 5 people also. Believe me, I used to get scared. Forget so many intelligent people. I would have actually shrunk in fear and run away from here. I was that kind of a person. But somewhere I picked up the courage. I spoke at one study circle meeting. I started with that. Somehow it was okay. Then somebody gave me an opportunity in a bigger seminar. I spoke in that. But what gave me the real thing was I started writing. I used to like writing. I used to write articles. I used to do some work from whatever experiences I had. I used to write articles on fraud. Bombay Chartered Accountants Society, the institute came to me much later, but Bombay Chartered Accountants Society, they gave me an option and they said that, you know, you write a column. And when you write things like this, no friends, work comes to you. You don't have to go to somebody and say, please, can you consider for me for this? People will remember, okay, this guy was speaking over there. Now, how good or bad I am, only that when they give me some work, they'll come to know. But they have that initial confidence in you. Please try these kind of things. Do some research. Even if an article is not very good, doesn't matter. When you do something, automatically in your mind also, you start thinking you'll come out with good things. You'll do research on your own. And plus, you will be recognized as a person with integrity, academic skills, and somebody who is respected. So this is the best possible marketing, and you're getting it from somebody who has got it, whatever little. It's a very humble practice that I have, but whatever little I have is because of these things that I write, sometimes I speak, and wherever possible, I try to give genuine good support, even without fees. Like supposing if there is an NGO or something, if you go and help them in some way, good people are involved with such NGOs also. They will also help you. This is again a suggestion. But these are the best marketing tools, not to go and make yourself visible. In fact, people seldom like people who try to force themselves on others. If I come and say that, sir, I want an assignment, you say, yeah, I'll keep you in mind, but you'll forget about it because you'll have no impact on that. Sorry if I digressed a bit, but this is what I thought may be useful to you guys for a practice, because that is the wrong way many people are doing practice, in my humble opinion. One of the things that is also important in practice is to do constant research. You know, there are times, even like you people, I also have times when there is a lull period, when you don't have any major work at hand. We should use that time to do continuous research. You know, I did some research and we found that there are various tools that are available on the internet which can help you to do what you are doing better. Even audit, forget forensic audit, you can even do audit. Now let's take for example, what you see here on the screen are some pictures of grass. Can you see, I earlier mentioned to you that in a very large company, there were more than 400 acres of land, and where some parts were there where there was a factory, there was housing colonies and all that, and this grass, they had to regularly snip and cut to make it even nice, beautiful, and of course to have some discipline also. Otherwise, in this grass there could be snakes, there could be infestation of pests, animals and all that. So there was no choice, but they had to do a big expenditure of grass cutting. What is that expenditure? Grass cutting. And for 400 acres, one vendor was not enough. No, they had to have at least 15-20 vendors who were given some allotted areas. So far everybody's okay? At the top also? Okay. Now in a thing like this, what is the proof as an accountant or as an auditor? What is the proof of grass cutting that you will have? You will have photographs along with the invoices. Of course the rates etc. are decided based on bidding and all that, but this is the way it is. So that means for every invoice there was a bill, and when you want to do it, let's say at the end of the year, and it is done, let's say 3 times in a month, how many vendors, how many such bills and how many pictures, what is the audit you will do? It's so difficult, no? So we found that there is one digital tool that is available which helps you to verify duplicate images. Duplicate images. See, I'm sure as during your audit, nowadays with audit automation, you must have used programs like IDEA and ACL and all these other audit software which help you to find duplicate telephone numbers, duplicate addresses, duplicate or break-in series, break-in serial numbers, different kinds of analysis. But all that is possible on text or numerical data, correct? Is it possible on pictures? It's not easy. But with this new kind of digital tool that is available, and I downloaded it from the internet. It was at that time hardly 3,000-4,000 rupees. So it was not a very expensive tool. And by the way, that is not the only tool. There are many such tools which enable you to do a verification of duplicates of images. So what we decided was, we'd use this tool. See, this is the typical screenshot of the application when you open this tool, okay? So when you open this tool, it's like your any other thing like Excel or Word or something like that. You have all those options on the top. So here, what you have to do is, on the right hand side, I have identified that in a blue rectangular box, it says add folder. So what does this particular tool do is that it asks you to identify where the pictures are, where you want me to do some operation on. So this is the folder called grass. I showed you the previous slide, no? See, this is the previous slide. It is in circle there. Can you see? The folder is grass. So in that we've got some pictures over there. See, right now when you look at it, from the look, you will not be able to find duplicates because manually it is not possible. And just imagine if you have 2,000 pictures, so it is virtually impossible. So we decided that this grass was the folder, and we added this folder. So then what happens is, you get that folder grass on top. Can you see it has been circled over there? And when you do that, all that you have to do is just press this button, start scan, okay? And you can go for 100% what shall I say, resemblance, or in this particular case I had taken 97%, not even 100% exact. And we wanted to find out if there are any duplicates. And immediately we got these four pictures which have duplicates. So you can see one example is given in the bottom. Can you see that it is 97.4% exact the same. Now friends, what will you think about this? This invoice which had virtually the same, probably the same photograph also. Is it possible? Is it doable? Then we found that this particular vendor was not even performing the work, and he was giving these kind of bills using fake photographs from the past experiences. So far so good? Okay. Again, this is another case. This tool just is to give you an idea that now your operations of auditing are not restricted only to numeric or text data. It is now you can go even to images, you can even go to CCTVs. There are lots of options available, friends. So now you have to upgrade yourselves. If you want to become better auditors, you have to try and search for new things, new tools, new methods. Only then will you become a more forceful and a more successful auditor. Whether auditor as a hello. Can you just थोड़ा कम करो what we thought is that should we apply this only to pictures or more things than just pictures along with data? So then I thought of one area, and it proved to be very successful, is we started looking at this kind of a tool in unusual areas. Like money laundering today, for example, one of the main worries that all bankers and even the government and the RBI has is a lot of fake accounts being opened, right? Supposing Chethan Dalal opens an account in Axis Bank, I can open one account as Chethan Dalal, I can also open one account as Mahesh Dalal also over there. So I'll give a lot of fake documents, I'll give a lot of different things, and I will open somehow another account as that, and then I will use that for my money laundering activities. So KYC today, I'm sure all of you agree with me that KYC is very important. So in KYC, there is a combination of data available in that. So on one side, you require data like your passport number, your telephone number, your email ID, your details of your name, address and all that. So all that is data which can be audited by using an audit software. Am I right so far? But if I'm giving my picture, both as Chethan Dalal and also as Mahesh Dalal, it is not possible for me to change that, no? Because my picture is the same. Only thing is you'll have two pictures in two different data sets. And we have to use some kind of a program like this digital tool for this purpose. Now in this particular case, let us say that this is some folder, I call it the pick folder. Right on top you can see it, the word written pick is there. Okay, these are all the different people, let's say, a part of my family. Now again in this particular case, if I were to ask any of you, photographs here, it will be very difficult for you, am I right? Because you can't, manually you can't. So if you use a program like this, you can find out if there are duplicates. Now in this, what we do is the same process we use. Once again, you add a folder here like in the previous time, and you can then ask for a similarity match by merely pressing scan. Okay, so you can do that, but this time, if you noticed, I have changed the resemblance to 60%. Can you see on the right hand side at the bottom, what is the percentage that I have asked for? 60%. Now, why do I want to do that? Can anybody tell me why I'm saying not 100% but 60%? Anybody? Correct. See, it is possible that when I have taken my photograph when I was Chethan Dalal, maybe today in a white shirt and maybe in some different kind of background and place, whereas when I go as Mahesh, I may have gone with a red background with a blue shirt, and I will definitely do that. So, what is important is, in a program like this, you reduce the similarity percentage. So when you reduce the similarity percentage, then you will get photographs which are nearly as similar to each other as is possible. But at the same time, it gives you a handle to find out whether there could be any fraud or not. So when we started doing this, we found several results over here. Unfortunately, some part of it is hidden. But if you see the duplicates that we got at 60%, there are 3 photographs of the same lady. Can you see that? But can you see that the program, the background, the size of the image and all are different in all the 3 cases. But you are still able, at 60% differences also, you are able to identify these similarities. So these give you the potential cause for investigation, okay, whether these particular images indicate that these are fake accounts or it is just a coincidence that somebody looks very similar to somebody else. That is also possible. I think I'm having some problem in this. Let me just use a QR code reader. No? In all your cell phones, you must be having it. Please make use of that. Now, in this, you'll see that there is the barcode there. Can you see the barcode on this? Now, if you apply that on the barcode, what is to be done is there is this is a typical QR code scanner which you have to install on your phone, which any of you can do at any time. And then what you do is you go to this is a kind of app that will come up on your cell phone. And what you do is you scan it. Now it is right now scanning this. When it scans this, it will give you some result with that. So what is the result that it gives? Let's see that. Okay. Now in this, it shows that this is. I am not trying to sell these applications and say you should have them. What am I here trying to say, friends, is one very important thing, is that your mind must be constantly trying to innovate, trying to find out new things, trying to find out what way you can address the changes in the current scenario. Today, AI, artificial intelligence, has become a big thing. Chat GPTs have become a big thing. Today, you have everywhere where you go, you have big systems like SAP, Oracle, and all that. It shouldn't frighten you. What you need to do is, you should apply your mind to see now, in a situation like this, what is it that I can do to get the maximum for the purpose of audit? And I can guarantee that if you think with a cool mind, if you do a little research is very important. That is one of the major points that I'm trying to say. If you do that, I can guarantee you that somewhere or the other, some solution you will be able to get, and you'll really evolve as a more adaptable auditor. In fact, adapting is what is one of the very important traits that we should have in modern times. You know what Charles Darwin had said? It is not that species which is really the fittest that survives in the long-term period. It is not really that. Nor is it that species which is the most intelligent. It is that species which adapts to the changing environment. That is the species which survives in the long-term period the maximum. I think we as auditors must do this. We have to adapt. What I did in 1983, I've forgotten completely. I don't think one element in that is still existing in the way it is today. And probably I am still very backward myself. There are some people who are far more adaptable to IT, technology, digital tools than I am. But it's okay. I mean, to the extent that you can. But please, do research and please try to adapt. That is also one of the very important things, both in audit as well as in forensic audit. Now I want to make it slightly more interesting. It's very close to the lunch session, so by now, upstairs, any people have fallen off to sleep, please let me know. Are we all okay still? Okay. So let me talk about a very important case study, or rather very interesting case study which happened to me recently during this COVID. This was in November 20, so just about 3 years prior to this. And friends, it relates to a temple. Now, how did it happen? Let me go into it. A very interesting case it was. There was one a very large hospital in Mumbai, because this was there that time in Mumbai. And one of the trustees, he knew me otherwise, so he called me up and said that, Chethan, there is some very interesting investigation assignment which I would like you to take up. And I was very excited. I said, yes, of course, who will not want an assignment? Everybody jumps in. So he said that it is in so-and-so hospital. And November, if you recollect, was at the height of COVID. So immediately I was on the back foot. So I said that nowadays, with moving out and all this. So he said, I understand what you are saying, but are you saying that you are not interested in doing this assignment? I said, if I can do it from home, I am interested in it. They said, no, this is not like that. You'll have to come over here. But don't worry. He said, there are all doctors over here. If something happens to you, we are there. I said, I had no choice. But that instinct in me, of that little bit of curiosity, what could be the case and what is there. So that, and ultimately it was, I went to go there. And believe me, friends, it's such a horrible, I don't know, thank God, I hope none of you had the opportunity to visit a hospital during November 2020, and that too of a very large, and that too of a government hospital. You can just imagine what kind of a situation it was. That very atmosphere when my car and driver, when we went inside, was something which I don't know how I survived, but I went and met those people. Everybody wearing masks, and you can't recognize those faces or whatever. So I said, what's the problem? So they said that we have, the dean himself spoke to me. He said that there are two of our accountants who have been messing around with RTGS forms. And they have taken out some money by doing a very simple thing. In those days, that hospital was using manual RTGS forms, which was sent to the bank, and the bank would make the remittance. I think it's still prevailing now also, that system, so you can do it. So what you have to do is you have to fill in full details. There is a form, the name of the recipient, his account number, what is the purpose and this and that. So that form would have to be filled. Now when these accountants would go to the dean, this is very interesting. All the details of that would be perfect. Like suppose the payee or Chethan Dalal was the person who has to be paid. All the information would be correct except the account number. That particular account number. Now if I am the dean and I am a doctor, I mean see, these doctors are good people but they are good in their own world. They don't have that sharpness, so they would put a different account number. So it would be an account number belonging to Mr. XYZ, and this fellow will gladly sign. And even there was so much fund coming into that hospital that nobody had any qualms or any fears. Even if 10 lakhs of money had gone away, which was actually happening, nobody would even realize it. And in all these cases, they had employed certain firms where I think the audit was done on 30th September, probably, so, or just about the date when this returns are to be filed. So you can imagine the depths up to which that thing was done. These reconciliations and recos were hilarious for a doctor. So I said, what is what? So he said, as of now, in 1 month in September 2020, about 30 lakhs have already been taken, but we want you to investigate what has happened and all that. So I said, okay. So this was the background. It was a very simple background. And I first asked them, where can I sit and what is, so they gave me a nice private cabin and place, and they said, you will be safe over here. They asked me whether I want a sandwich. I said, no, where are you getting it from? I said, I know what. Then I was sitting with the dean, we were just taking an overview. And friends, this is very important in doing any kind of investigation. It is always good to understand the business operations or the actual nature of the activities which are going on in that particular organization where you are doing something. So he said, yes, we have a training college, we have a surgical room here, we have a hostel here, we have this. And he gave me 20 different, it was a huge place, a very big hospital, one of the very well-known hospitals in Bombay. And he said, and I just asked them, okay, what about cash? Because that is one of the most important things. Okay, where can the money be taken away? Is there any place that you have cash? I said, no, Mr. Dalal, everything is here by check, and if somebody wants to give, there is one cash counter, but there is a very difficult process that he has to go through, and that person has to do that. But otherwise, we encourage only check payments. I was very impressed. Then I think somebody who was there in the team, they said that, no, sir, there is some small amount of cash which comes from the temple collections. Now, I'm sure, friends, all of you know that in every hospital, I'm sure it must be in case in Bangalore also, doesn't every hospital have a temple inside the hospital? Because any patient who is admitted to a hospital, he will always have these feelings, sentimental feelings of praying and all that. So before the hospital, very often people go and pray. After the hospital, if they are cured, so they are more than happy to go and say thank you, right? This is the kind of sentiment that people have. So there was a nice temple over there. He said that we get some money like every day, 2,000, 3,000, on a good day, like if there is a Ganesh festival or if there is a Gopalashmi or if there is something like that, maybe it may go up to 10, 15,000 or more. So there is a donation box which is also free. So for us, as you all know, we are people who go by materiality. So even I thought, okay, what's the point? I mean, there is nothing much to be done. And what will you do in temple collections also? I said, okay, nothing much. But you know what happens is, as I was telling you in the morning session, once you are an investigator, you don't like to let anything go past you. You want, I must get a query. And when you get a query, you get a surge of excitement. Does it happen to you people? Okay, when I have a query, I get extremely excited. Kuch mila, kuch hai, you feel that. So I just said that, okay, but if it's okay, can I speak to the cashier just to understand how and what is the process? So I said, okay. He said, yeah, there is a lady cashier, and he called that lady. She was a nice, decent lady. So I just asked her, I asked all sorts of questions. Okay, what time of the day do you go? How do you go? Where is the temple? Is it close by? How do you bring the money back? So I asked all these questions. It was like you have this ICQ, internal control questionnaire. So I had that sort of thing. She was answering those questions very well, very brilliantly. Everything was just perfect. And then somewhere in that questioning, I just asked her, normally do you take the key? She said, yes, I take the key from the main cashier and then I go there and I take out, open the donation box, take out the money, put it in a bag and bring it back. Oh, I said, fine. Okay, so tell me, what kind of a bag do you do? So she said, okay, I'll have to get it. So I said, okay, get it. Friends, this was the whole thing. Now, she came. I had expected that the bag for 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 rupees, what is the size of the bag that you have? Something like this. Even this is too big for that, right? But she then, this is by the way, the picture I'm showing you is the actual real picture. This was the bag. This bag was 6 feet by 8 feet. Can you imagine? 6 feet by 8 feet. It was a big, big bag. And that was the lady, actual lady who was getting it. So she showed it. I said, for 2,000 rupees you take this kind of a bag? Does it sound okay with you? So then suddenly, there was something, some kind of fidgetiness that came up in her reaction. So she said, oh, sometimes I take this bag, sometimes I just carry it. I said, but when do you know how to take, you have to get a big bag and all that? So she said, no, I just take that. She was just answering now questions wildly. So then I said that, shall we go and visit? I said, let me also visit the temple. No? Basically, I write a lot of books on Gita and all that, so it's good to go there. So she was not at all overjoyed by that question. She said, but why do you want to go there? So I said, we will see. Then she had an idea. She said, but that is just next to the TB section. So you'll have to wear a double mask and that is a very, very dangerous area. I also got scared. I also said that, see, that time with the COVID, already in hospital, you are sort of at a risk. And then to go in a TB section, and all this was there. So I also said that this is not right. But that seed of suspicion, that was already there in my mind. I felt, do you all agree that this bag is not the right kind of bag to make a 2, 3, 10,000 rupee collection? It's not correct, no? So I said, okay, TBS. So I asked one of the doctors, what do I do? So that doctor also said, thoda to risk hai, but you can go over there. So he gave me some special mask, that you can wear this, and he said you wear one more on top of that. Don't touch anything. Don't look towards the TV section. Do this, do that. So with all that, I went like a scared cat, just holding the cashier's hand and going behind to go there. We went to the temple. It was a beautiful temple. Honestly, it was a very nice temple. And we expected. Now again, when you say that the collection, even on a very good day, cannot be more than 15 or 20,000, what would be the size of the donation box? It should be something like this, with one slot in the middle to do this. So this was the donation box. And it is really very big. It was something which I can't explain. It was about so big in size. I was surprised at why such a big donation box was there. So obviously the next question was that shall we open it and see it? So then we found that this is the kind of money, and this is just a picture I've taken from the net, but there was lots and lots of money inside that. So I said, how come today is no festival and all that? No, what is the reason for this kind of a thing? So she was dumbstruck. Now she got completely scared. So we went back, we of course counted the money, we went back to the main back office where she was supposed to be sitting. And I said, now tell me frankly, what is the correct correction and why are you saying that only such small amounts are there? So then she said that, sir, I was instructed by a trustee. So who was involved in this? Trustee. There was a trustee. So we were told that we should cream out some of the larger collections in this and show only a small amount every day. So then she went inside and got out another notebook. That notebook showed the actual cash collection, and that collection ran into, I don't remember the amounts, but it was an exponential figure of the amounts that were shown over here. But picture bhi baki hai, that's not all. I don't know whether you people have realized, if you see the donation box, there is not one slot, but there are multiple slots. Can you see that?
Yes.
Can anybody guess why?
Different donations of rupees, like 2,500, like that, different. Denominations.
Your imagination has to be stretched further. I'll show you this. Inside this, there were also jewelry. So, in hospitals, please remember that when patients go out, supposing a patient has been maybe suffering from a terminal disease, and somehow the doctor's surgery goes well with him and says you have another 10 years to live. Supposing the patient says that, okay, if I were to survive, then I will give my necklace to you, I'll give my brooch to you, I'll give my pendant to you. And every day there would be tons of collections of jewelry, silver, gold. And there was another book for that. So, all those things were done, and those items of jewelry and all that, they were also, that is why that big bag. Now are you able to understand what was the reason for that? So what she said that we actually do is, the trustee's office is also not very far from here, so we would have the big bag, we would take out what was the creamier part of it, give there, and he would tell us what is to be disclosed here. It is like, income tax. There are many people who will say, no, you disclose only so much of income, work backwards and make the profit and loss account. That kind of a thing is there. So it was very similar that this is the way it was done. Now friends, this particular thing, the dean, the trustees in the main meeting, they were all not only shocked, they were really surprised, because this fraud ran into really a huge amount, and nobody in the hospital realized that there is so much of income from this particular temple. Now friends, here the important small part of it is, do you think that, when we do an audit, do we pay any attention to the reality aspect of it? We always believe that if it's in audit, we require documentary evidence. Am I right? An audit goes by audit goes behind the books of the law. Now, if 5 documents are given, we presume that everything is perfect. But whether those documents reflect the reality or not, we do not know. This is one of the major problems in today's world. We do not act. Our minds become very robotic. We try to say, okay, in my checklist, I want to check, okay, I want to check the cash, I want to check the opening balances, I want to check this, I want to do that. You do all that, but when you start doing this, you forget the main picture. Okay, is the business doing correctly? Is the correct income being shown? Is the correct expense being shown? That kind of a picture is seldom taken. So we have to do both. You have to do your processes, at the same time you have to apply a reality check in this. That's how you will get something. I'll give you one or two other examples where people do not realize the thing in this. In one case, it was in the Middle East. In the Middle East, where there are these big oil rigs, and we were doing some work for them. We did a year-end analysis of the balance sheet items, and one of the items in that was stock in transit. Now, all of you know what is stock in transit, friends? That means an item has gone from location A to location B, but as on a particular date, it is not received here, but it is dispatched from location A. So it is termed as stock in transit, correct? And it is valued accordingly. Now, there were huge amounts which were lying in stock in transit. We did a little audit of that. We found that some items were in transit for 15 days, 20 days and so on. So some of them, they gave me an explanation. In the desert, sometimes there are big storms and the roads are blocked, visibility is low, so maybe containers or trucks, they have to stay there for some time, and it may be happening. So, like a very innocent person, I also said, yeah, very good. Then we adopted a different way of checking. What do? A different look at things. So we said that can you also give us the distance of the locations where the stocks are in transit, like let's say there are 10 different places from where stocks are coming. So that person came and gave me. In one case of a huge amount of stock in transit, the distance was 5 feet. 5 feet. And how? Because in that same office where the warehouse where the stock was supposed to come, there was a service center on the other side. So some stocks were sent for servicing, and those stocks had been sent back. Can they be in transit for 15 days? They were missing stocks. What were they? Stocks which were deficient, which were not there, but they were palmed off as stock in transit. And in that you had a beautiful audit schedule where all ticks were there, everything was checked, two people had reviewed it, they had valued it correctly. Now tell me, I'm not criticizing them, I'm just saying, the reality check was missed out in this. Would you all agree with me that, sir, at the top, would you also agree with me? This is where I'm saying that as a forensic auditor, one of the things is applying the investigative skills, apart from accounting and auditing skills, find out whether there is any reality. In another case, there was one, again in the Middle East only, because there, I don't know why, the things are slightly different over there. There are certain expenditures for what they call drilling expenditures, where there is an activity called fishing. For those of you who don't know, the activity of fishing is such that when they dig or drill a hole inside a place where they expect that oil is there, what happens is very often there is some unforeseen blockage or something like the rock formation or something which was not anticipated earlier, whereby that drilling machine gets stuck. Now that machine cannot be allowed to stay there because you are not able to reach that place. So either they have to dislodge it and make it free from where it has been stuck, or they have to fish it out, okay, to say that, okay, we'll remove this and put something else. So they had this drilling expenditure, friends, would run into millions of dollars every year, huge amounts of expense. So we were asking the people over there, the top people, the management, and as you know, most of the time, I don't know how many of you are in internal audit or audit. If you are, you know, you are not the most popular people, no, when you visit your clients. Do people clap with joy and say, oh, my internal auditor has come? Nobody says that, right? In fact, the first thing that they say is, how long are you going to be here? The second thing they will say, today there is no place to sit, I don't know where we can accommodate you. Have you gone through these kind of things? This is the most common kind of experiences that you have, right? So, even in this particular case, when we were doing this looping around in the college, they said, some Dalal has come from Bombay, as if we don't know how to run the business. So, you know, all these kind of snide remarks that started coming in. So when I said, I mean, now I've become a very timid cow. I mean, whenever somebody talks to me like that, now with all these years of experience, I understand. I just asked them, can I just have a look at how this drilling expenditure takes place? He said, sir, what are you wasting time on this for? He said, why? What is the problem with it? Can I show you one invoice? I said, sure. We took out one invoice. It was a very, and there, the invoices and all, the format was superb and all, and lots of supportings, everything. And he was very sarcastic. So you can count, no? I said, yes, sir. See how many approving signatures are there on that. So I really put my head down. 20. How many? So unless these 20 people from across the desert, like somebody can be at the rig, somebody can be at the warehouse, somebody can be here, somebody can be in corporate, unless everybody has signed on this, no payment can be made. When you get a thing like this, you get intimidated. As it is, you are in a foreign country. As it is, you are speaking to somebody at a very high level. As it is, that person hates the ground that you walk on. So it's not something that is very pleasant. So that's why I said, tact and diplomacy is very important. Sir, I learned something from you today. This is the way a system should be. When you walk with them, there is a real change in that gear also. Good. And no problem, though we have come with our experiences, I must say that, in fact, I'd like to learn more from it. Then you use the thing of flattery. When you use that, the thing changes. You come at 4 o'clock, I'll be free, I'll be able to show. I say, I come at that time. Go by 3:45 and sit to show you're so eager to. You are doing the fishing. I'm doing the fishing, yeah. So he said that this is what we do. So I got a picture of what was happening. And within 2 minutes, I realized that 19 signatures were dependent on the previous signature. So supposing Mr. Thomas has signed, then Preeti will say, hey, he must have definitely checked. So Preeti will sign, then Sushmita will sign, then somebody else will sign. Who has the time to go and say, check why Thomas has approved this? Nobody does that. Everybody wants to live in his own space, in his own way. This is what happens. So we decided, and this is friends also very important, that you should actually visit the sites and do a walkthrough test. What we call a walkthrough test is to understand an operation in reality. When you are going to do that, and friends, just to cut a long story short, I don't want to go on. We found not one, not two, but 13 different ways in which the fishing expenditure was exaggerated or falsified or manipulated in different ways. It is a very long case study. I can't show. I'll just give you 2 or 3 examples. See, I'm not even talking about inflated rates and all that. We are all familiar with it. But there will be a thing like this, that okay, if the equipment is, let's say, stuck over here where I am standing, they will first deliberately drill 10 feet away from there, they will drill, and then afterwards they say it is not here, so we have to do it over here. So they get for the double the drilling. Secondly, sometimes what they will do is, they will drill, which is a wrong machine for that. See, for drilling machine, for fishing, you require a machine with certain hooks which will be able to take it out. But then they will find some machine which is something quite different from that. And then they will say, now we found that the item which is stuck is of this type, so we'll require this machine. Then they will use more number of days than are required. Like they know it is not there, that fish is not stuck in a particular area. But 5 days, 10 days, they will not stop only because money is coming here on one side. For whatever drilling that we do, it is continuously coming in there. And so on. I don't remember all the different ways, but 13 different ways in which they were actually looting the entire company. It was a government company, and 20 senior people were approving that expenditure. Now tell me, friends, where is the documentation? They may be having a SAP system, they may be having an Oracle system, they may be having a manual which must have been decided on glossy pages with do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, but it doesn't come. You have, these are the results which happen, and that reality happens when you don't rely only on documents. Sometimes when I speak so much, it may come across with all documents are useless. No, it's not that. But I'm saying the reliance on these documents has to be nurtured along with reliance on the actual system. When you merge the two, you get what we call a 3D view, and then you are in a position to understand what could be going wrong. So these are some of the things which were very important. So let's move ahead. Now this is something which somebody was asking me also. You can also take a snapshot of these. These are some of the red flags that we have, sort of different kinds of warning bells that you may have, which may, and I will trust him with even 10 crores of rupees without any problem. I was very impressed. I said, Acha, he is that trustworthy? Absolutely. He's a person I can give him anything and walk away without any tension. He said, why do you say so? You know what he said? He's been working with me for 20 years. And in 20 years, there has never been a single cash shortage. There has been some times when there have been cash excesses, but never a single shortage. So that means he was erring always on the wrong side. What would you say, friends? Is it possible you can make errors only in one direction? He was actually running some side business. Actually, it was a big store on the highway side somewhere, and this guy had several such stores. So this guy, when he had that big store, and I'm talking some years ago, he would start selling his own items along with it, like those foreign cigarettes and chocolates and liquors and all that. And he would be maintaining 2 cash books. Obviously, one cash book would be for the owner, and one cash book would be for himself. So if in the owner's cash book, if there was some shortage, what would he do? They those books and make some mixers so that the owner will never suspect. So this is what we call errors in a single direction are never to be believed. They are never to be believed. No rotational duties. This I don't need to tell you, but I'm sure all of you agree. If the same person has been doing work for donkey's years together, it is a very unhealthy sign. He may be innocent and he may not be doing anything wrong, but these are the places. It's like where you have stagnant waters. Mosquitoes will come, no? It's a thriving place for mosquitoes. It's in the same way. If you have the same person doing the same job, it's a very risky situation. Behavioral red flags. Can anybody give me an example of a behavioral red flag? That unusual behavior. Yes?
Arrogance. I know everything.
Yes.
I'm doing it all correctly. Why are you bothered?
That is one. Okay. What else?
Or being defensive every time.
They're defensive. That's what I said. Very defensive about not ready to show. Lost. These are all lost. These documents are not there.
So this is very good.
Yeah.
What about behavior of a different which is not commensurate with your income? Like supposing you are an ordinary cashier.
I was
and you are only maybe getting 15, 20,000 rupees a month, and you smoke those foreign Marlboro cigarettes, and you have those big bottles, and you every Sunday you say, I've gone to the races yesterday, and we did this and we did that. It doesn't make sense, no? It means that either he has ancestral wealth. If that is the case, it is possible. But if he has ancestral wealth, it is very unlikely that he's going to come and work at a very lowly place in that. But it is possible. But these are called behavioral red flags. Then concentration of power in one group. What do you think of that, sir? Too much of power in one group, does it lead to fraud? It does. Because that means that they have unbridled power in that, and whenever there is power, this happens. Chaos or disorder where order is required. I think this part is very clear. But is the reverse also true? Can anybody tell me? We all know that where there is supposed to be a sequential control, there is no sequential control. Where there is supposed to be a certain manner of doing something, it's all wrong. But where there is orderliness, can there be fraud? Where there is orderliness, but it is not expected. Can anybody give me one example? Anybody? Just think. No? Anybody from the top? Okay, if something is systematic, then there is something wrong. Or something is asymmetrical, there is something wrong. Okay, I'll give you one example. It is a very, very interesting case. There was one college. We were doing an investigation in a college. What had happened was, there was one auditor who was doing the accounts, the audit of the college for a fairly long time. Like he was there for 20, 30 years. And as I said earlier, maybe it was typically that, on the last week of September, they would come and get the accounts. And a good guy, but with limited vision for the future. So unfortunately, he died. And another auditor had to be brought in. So this auditor, he started looking at the different kinds of records and documents that were there in the college. For everybody's purpose, tell me what do you think are the normal records that would be there in a college? Let's take a profit and loss account. What would be the incomes of a college and what would be the expenses? Anybody? Yeah. So exam fees would be one, grants or donations would be another. And some miscellaneous income like sports day, this, that, and all sponsors and all that, that is the normal income. And expenses would be payments to faculty members, overheads, audit fees, and so on. Right? So this is a typical thing. But for all of you, I'm sure you remember, when you all went to college, that time, if you recollect, when you went to college, you had to give certain amounts as deposits. How many of you remember that? Like you had to give library deposit, you had to give caution money deposit, you had to give so and so deposit, some amounts. And when were they recoverable? When you are leaving the college. How many of you have recovered those amounts? I'm telling you, 90% of you must have even lost the receipts. Forget remembering to do that. Because I don't know. When I got my final BCom, that mark sheet, our main worry was to go and either apply for a job or go to some audit firm. That time the audit firm was important, and make sure that the mark sheet was given and you could start. That was the main thing. So nobody would, these amounts would lie in unpaid deposits over a period of time, right? They would be the liability of the college. These funds are not the fund of the college. And these funds belong to somebody who's probably not even aware. Like today, my library deposit must be still lying with Sydenham College, if at all it is there. And I am not aware about it. Huge amounts were there in this. Now, in this, he found, this new auditor who came, he found something very unusual. He found that there were collections. A little early for the next session. Okay, that's good. So, this particular auditor, he saw that every day there would be 10 to 15 people who would come and collect the refunds. Nothing wrong in that, right? But it intrigued him. Okay, quite a few people are still collecting these refunds, and you would see in the ledger account. Then suddenly something struck me, and friends, this is something that will interest you all, is that for at least the last 2 years, the ledgers that he had with him, he found that people were coming and collecting the refunds in alphabetical order. So first it was Chethan was coming, then Preeti was coming, then Smriti was coming, then somebody else was coming. So every day, 10 to 12 refunds or deposits were going in alphabetical order. Ma'am, do you think that is absolutely fine? If this symmetry is good, it means the college controls are good? No, what is it then? There is something that is wrong. Oh, in CID, have you seen CID? Daya kuch to gadbad hai na? So it is something like that. So we also felt, and this auditor also felt that there was something wrong. So then he called for one of those refunds. Now for getting a refund, what were the documents that were required? You required the original receipt, you required an application form from the student to say that please refund my so-and-so deposit. And they would also have the date on which the student passed and all that, some details of the student. Then that form would go to the principal for his signature that no penal dues are still expected, or that there was no payment due from them. It will go to the library to confirm that no books are outstanding. It will go to other departments. All those departments will give those clearances, and the money would be paid. He could go and collect the money from the cashier. Every day, people doing all this in exactly an alphabetical order. Something was wrong. So this auditor, then he picked up a name of a couple of people, and since all the details were available, their address and probably the numbers also were available, he called them. So there was one name, a fake name, say Saraswati, somebody was there. So they called Saraswati, did you come to college day before yesterday and collect your deposit? So she said, I'm in Australia, I'm not here. So, okay, did you know then also, did you send somebody for collecting this deposit? I said, which deposit? Which college are you talking about? What is it? She said, you are in the, yeah, I was in this college, but I didn't know, okay, is there a deposit that is to be collected? So she didn't even know that there was an amount which was due. So then they said, okay, they sent that photo on that. They said, this is your signature. So she said, no, this is not my signature. I have not collected this money. So it was very clear that it was the cashier who was doing that. Now this fraud was actually being committed by the cashier along with one of the senior faculty members. What was the genesis of this fraud? The fraud genesis was that this senior faculty teacher, he realized that there are so many of these unclaimed deposits which are lying for years together. Those students are never going to come here to ask for this money. All that is required is some paperwork to get this done. Now, in order, he didn't have the brains, though he was a teacher, he didn't realize this. From where would he get this data? He would first find out which are the students who have left, and for that, he would go to the attendance roll muster for each year. Now, in which order is the attendance roll muster? So, he would go in that order, he would eliminate those names where somebody has already taken the refund, and he would cull out those names where the refunds were not taken, and give them to the cashier and say, do the records for all this and we'll collect the money for that. So the cashier also did not apply his mind, and all of them were put in the same alphabetical order, and that is what came out. So here, friends, what is the red flag in this? If there is order where there isn't supposed to be an order. Do you agree with me? So sometimes we look at things only in a single way. Okay, if there is chaos, you say that there is something wrong. But if there is order also, there could be something wrong. Okay? Then we have data mining. I'm sure all of you are familiar with this. If there are outliers, exception reports, these are some of the red flags that we have. Then sequence, this I just explained. Then results of sampling of Benford's law, RSF, Loon's algorithm. How many of you are using some of these slightly advanced techniques in this? Benford's law is very, how many of you have heard of Benford's law? Okay, not many people. But I don't think in today's session you'll be able to take it up because it's a fairly long thing. But I would urge you all to take some time out and understand on the internet. There is a full, full explanation of what this Bedford's law is about, and it can be used very well for audit sampling also. Not only forensic audit, but for audit sampling also you can use it. Bedford's law is the only, I'm saying only, only scientific, mathematical method of finding out in a large population where there could be error or fraud. So I would recommend that you have this. Maybe I request the organizers that maybe someday you should have a session of 1 hour only on Benford's law. Maybe a 1 hour session, but you should have it because you should see how it works and how you are able to find. Just to make it a little amusing and interesting, I'll tell you one application of Benford's law which has happened in life, which is also there on the internet. There was one class in America, in some university, I think it was Georgia University, but I'm not sure, where one professor wanted to check how many of his students were truthful and honest and how many of his students were prevaricating or lying or those who are not to be relied upon. So he gave them a very simple exercise to do at home. Huh? Yes, you've done that. Means you are the student or you are the... Okay. So there was a very interesting exercise that he gave that the students, they were told, okay, everybody will go home today and do a homework exercise. And the homework exercise is you will flip a coin 200 times and write down on a piece of paper the results, whether it was heads or tails on each flip. So for the results, it could be anything. It could be HT, DH, DH, HP, HTTP, PTTH. It could be any kind of thing in that. So the next day morning, when the students came and they gave him their answer papers, he took them on his desk, and within a few minutes he leafed through them and he made 2 piles. One pile was containing the papers where he said that these are all people who are honest, that they've actually flipped a coin 200 times and they've given me the answers. And all these others are those cases who have completely lied to me. Possibly they have just chocoffied that this head stage without doing that, or they must have given it to the younger brother or sibling to say just fill in something and give it back to me. And these people are liars and not reliable. Now you know why and how he came to this conclusion. It's a very interesting thing. And according to some application of Benford's law, if you flip a coin 200 times, minimum 200 times, you can go more than 200 times, no problem. In the results that you will get, somewhere you will have 6, minimum of 6 continuous heads or 6 continuous tails. So it will be H, 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 H or T, 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 T. At least. It can be 7 times, 8 times more, but not less. So those who genuinely have done this tossing for 200 times, their marks or their answer sheets had this particular section where they identified 6 continuous heads or tails. Whereas those who were faking, they didn't know Benford's law and this did not appear in them. So as simple as that, so Benford's law is something like this. Okay, just by looking at the appearance of some data, you, in a certain manner, of course, there is a very simple exercise, but if you do that, you will be able to put your hands in that part of all the data where there is a likelihood of fraud or error. Therefore, I am saying, just do some research on this and try to understand what is this Benford's law, how it can be applied. It can be applied very easily in your audit processes and it can be very useful to you. Okay, what are the other things that we have? Missing documents, I'm sure all of you know, it's something which is there. Close ties with vendors and third parties. Would you call that a red flag, friends? Third parties? Like supposing the purchase manager and a very big vendor, they go for a Swiss holiday together. Is it all like they're doing bhajans and kirtans there, or you think there is some other equation over there? It has to be, no? So if there are close ties with any of these vendors and third parties, that is one of the strongest signs. In fact, in many companies, not one but several countries across the world, even if they give anything more than a box of Diwali sweets or chocolates, they have to report it to their higher-ups that this is something that I've got, or they're not supposed to accept this. Because doing that makes them prejudiced or biased in favor of vendors. Unreconciled accounts, disaster situations, and all these I'm not going to go into because this will take a long time, but those who want, these are some of the red flags, and there are many more. I'll be happy if you people can share my email with them. If somebody wants more data, more material, please feel free to send me an email. I will gladly send you some material that I have in this. Okay? So, no problem. Now, before we come to, there has to be some time for questions and answers, right? Are you people now tired? Now, is it too much of forensic which is coming out of your ears, at least on top? Okay. It's becoming a bit mild, so I think now the lunchtime is coming closer. No? Okay, doesn't matter. So, shall I quickly run through what are the typical steps that we have in this? Okay. So now, one is most important, setting up for a goal or objective. Why have I said this? You see, a typical forensic audit is different from your statutory audit or your tax audit or to some extent even the internal audit, because over there, your goals are clearly identified. In your statutory audit, your CARO report, your other reports, whatever you're supposed to do, whatever disclosures your report are expected to be, is all defined for you. So you have to work only towards giving information which is relevant in that particular report. So also with tax audit. But in case of forensic audit, when they say, okay, no, we are suspecting that Mr. X has done something wrong, how do you define exactly what is to be done? So even if you have to spend 2 days on this, setting up the correct goal and objective, okay, what is your deliverable? What are you actually going to give to your client is going to be very important. So spend as much time as that, be very clear, think what are the deliverable reports that you are supposed to give, and finalize this only after all this. Then you need to make an internal plan for your team. How will you be able to do this? So this also, it will be good if you put the plan in writing that, okay, these are some of the things that we need to address. We have these kind of expertise. We may want an IT guy, we may want a field guy, we may want something in that. We will set up the timeline, the process. So an overall plan, it's like an architect's plan. Okay? Then how do we collect evidence? We can collect evidence directly, that is by going and asking questions upfront and all that, or you can make third-party inquiries. So these are two different ways in which we can collect information. Then we have to evaluate. This is in fact even more difficult, because once you get tons of information, how do you evaluate? This is also another major point. So this is the fourth step. And fifth step is then summarizing the findings after team discussions. The word team discussions is extremely, extremely important, because see, in a big investigation, somebody may have gone, let's say, to Gujarat, I may have been in Bombay, some third person may have done an IT across the net. As a single person, as a team leader, I cannot send the report unless and until everybody has gone through my entire report and has been able to confirm or clarify or even object to some of the things that we have stated. Only then will the report become balanced. So this is very critical. Opportunity to clarify. How many of you will agree with this? It's most important. Tomorrow what happens is forensic reports go in a court of law. A judge will come or will ask you questions, and the opposite side's lawyer is not going to be honey syrup with you. He's also going to go and tear you apart when you are there. At that time, if you say that I had given a chance to this person to make that clarification, it will go a big way in the value of your report, because even if he has not come or not appeared for you, you gave that chance. That opportunity to clarify is very, very important. And last is conclusion and reporting. So only if you have followed the first 6 steps properly, then you give a conclusion and report. So these are the normal steps that are actually performed in investigations. Alright? So this is where we are. Manjuna, so I'll just finish up with my final message and then you can have questions for 10 minutes. Is that okay with you? So friends, now almost we are coming to the last 15-20 minutes. I just want to, end this thing with something, some good message that I can give to people, because as I said, mostly I think I'm elder to all of you, so I want to also talk about something which are the good things in life and which can help you, bless you and make you better. In this entire talk, we've talked about Melford's law, we've talked about different kinds of red flags, warning bells, and digital use and all that. It is possible that some of you may not have understood that correctly, some of you may not have got the full gist of what I said. It doesn't matter, that you will be able to pick up on your own. But what I'm going to say now
is far more important than anything else. First and most important thing is that in our lives, it is very important to be a good human being and a humble person. If you are able to do these two things, you will become a 10 times better professional. A true professional will become a professional only if the person is humble, nice and good towards others. And if you can take out some time in a day to do some good deed, something that can make this world a better place to live in, something that can bring a cheer or a smile on somebody's face, you don't necessarily have to be rich to be able to donate. If you can give a shoulder to somebody to cry on, if you can help a person meet with some kind of challenges in the time that he has or he or she comes before you, if you can do that, that is something which cleanses your mind. You remember that photo which I showed you with the those lines up and down? These are some of the washing techniques that you have to make your mind clearer, your mind better, and your mind sharper. And most importantly, it brings in an element of dignity within you, irrespective of whichever religion you may follow, maybe Hindu, Muslim, Catholic, whatever. But these are common across all religions. You need to be good people. And whatever you decide, how you want to go about in your life, you have to decide now. You cannot wait for some time. Like, okay, Mr. Dalal has said that, but Abhi, right now I'm very busy. We'll talk about the good things later. We'll talk about that. I don't think so. I'll end with a very nice story that I've heard. In some village in some distant part of India, and this is of course a story, there was a kingdom, and in that kingdom, the king was selected in a very peculiar way. They would say that anybody is welcome to become the king and enjoy all the kingly pleasures for 3 years. Within the 3 years, he can do what he wants. All the money, the support, this, that, enjoyment, revelry is there for him. But at the end of the 3rd year, he will be banished from this land. He will be exiled. He will be sent away. So this was a very strong condition. But because it was a matter of a kingdom, there were some takers, like sometimes they would be, and they would get somebody to be the king. Now typically, a king who would be brought onto the seat, in the first year, he would enjoy himself, he would do all the revelry, all the fun, this, that, and seldom would a thought come to his mind, okay, after 2 years, I'm going to be exiled. You know, like maybe some of you may have thought when I said, okay, try to do a good thing, you would have said, yeah, what you're saying is correct, but not just now, we'll talk about it later. Some of you may be thinking that. In the 2nd year, that person will be continuing to enjoy, but the level of enjoyment will be slightly less, because occasionally in his mind he will start thinking, okay, next year, so at the end of it, I will be banished. But nevertheless, he will still be enjoying. Then comes the 3rd year. In the 3rd year, he starts off with a frown on his forehead. You know, at the end of the year, I am going to be banished. So during the entire year, the enjoyment is hardly anything. But he keeps thinking of that, what will happen at the end of the year. And by the time the end of the year comes, he's so scared of getting, exiled that he would not want to leave his throne, but the soldiers would come, drag him, put him on a boat outside, and the boatman would be instructed to go and put him in the island where he has to be taken away. So this was the general situation. But friends, in one particular year, one incident happened where when one king was appointed, the situation was different. They told him when he was appointed, okay, you are welcome to become the king, but at the end of the 3rd year you will be exiled. He said, no problem, I will become the king. So in the 1st year, he enjoyed himself immensely, not very immensely, he was doing whatever he wanted, spending this, that, everything. And he had all the rights to do that. So, but everybody was saying, okay, let the 2nd year come, he will come back to his senses. 2nd year came, this guy was even on a higher platform than the previous one. He was enjoying even more. He wanted money from the treasury, he wanted this, he wanted to do that, everything, and nobody could say anything. But this guy there is no impact. They said, but it doesn't matter, let the third year come, you can understand that. 3rd year even more. He was enjoying himself unbelievably. 1st month, 2nd month, 3rd month, people were
were astounded. They said that this guy is something unusual. Does he not know? They once again told him, okay, at the end of this year, you will be exiled. So he said, yeah, I know. What's wrong with that? He was so confused. I said, okay, fine. He continued his enjoyment. Came the last month, came the last day, and they said, now let us see how this guy is, because nobody likes to go in that. So they all went, the soldiers went to the throne, because the normal practice was to drag him from there, drag whoever was there, and put them in the boat. He was not there in the throne. So they said, Acha, he is hiding, we must go and find out. So they started looking here, there, everywhere, and suddenly there came a shout from the riverside, where this guy had already gone and sat in the boat. He said, hey, all of you are not going to send me off, I have already come and sat in the boat. These people were completely amazed. They said, but what is the matter? They came, they said, you are banished now. He said, yeah, I'm going away, all the best, bye-bye, and all that. The boatmen started taking the boat across. The boat went for maybe a little bit. And then the boatman said that, I have taken so many kings in the past, and each and every one of them was crying and remorseful, and they were dismal about it. They didn't know, and how come you are like this? I said, I have always been like that. He said, no, we have to go. He said, I know that island. So he said, you want to be asked the boatman, you want to come and stay with me? So Ben said, no, I don't want to be exiled. He said, okay, fine. So very soon they dropped him to the island. But when they came to the island, the boatman was stopped. The entire island was completely done up with all the joys, pleasures, food, everything, because when he was the king in those 3 years, he had made sure that if he was going to be exiled, he will have lots of fun over there, and he spent tons and tons of money over there to make that place beautiful, enjoyable, so that it would seem like an exile. Friends, and he lived there happily. So the lesson in this is, what I told you in this last message, please don't take it as if we can think about it later. Start doing whatever you can to become, you are good human beings already. Become a little better. Give somebody a smile every day. Do a good deed every day. In life, everybody is not so lucky as we are. Believe it or not, we have a million things that we should be happy about. Be grateful to God for them. Remember to thank God for whatever He has given us. And remember to be good. Let's make this world a better place to live in. And friends, that is what is important. This forensics, we don't know. But being good human beings is something which you should do. And if you do that, I promise you will not only become good, you will become expert forensic accountants or expert auditors or the best in whatever you do. So my best wishes to you all. I've got 10 minutes for questions. Please feel free to ask questions. And I'm grateful to you all once again for a lovely support that you've given me during these sessions. God bless you all.
Of the person who is expected to have a fraud. Is it illegal or it is, what is the way to do that?
Because
It's personal next.
now the data privacy, that new act also has come in, and getting bank statements or any personal information is, I think, a crime, and it can be a very severe punishment as well, including imprisonment, I believe.
So how will you establish, if there is a perpetrated fraud and personal gain, how will you establish it? Because government agencies can have access to those information.
Correct.
But as a private investigator, how to establish that?
It's that evidence will not be possible for us to get unless that evidence has been submitted directly by that person in some context. Like say, for example, if that person has had to apply for a visa and you are sending that person somewhere and he has sent his statement for 6 months, I'm just saying for example. That is, but even there are certain schools of thought which say that even looking at those statements there is an element of invasion of privacy. So honestly, I don't have any concrete answer to give you, okay, what can we do? But usually, in all forensic assignments, we find certain compensating data which are available, which can give a lot of evidence, or if not direct evidence, circumstantial evidence to show that something has been going on. Maybe you can get it from the person who has paid that person. Like supposing X has paid Y. You can't get Y's bank statement. But if X is willing to say that I have paid this money and this is my bank statement, then that is one way that you can also substantiate it. Of course, I'm saying that there are difficulties in this and the data privacy law is making it more difficult. Honestly, it'll have to be studied on a case-to-case basis, but extremely difficult. I fully agree. Yes, sir.
You can take authorization.
Sorry?
Concerned person.
You
You can take authorization letter. No?
Then there's no problem.
One investigation where you find that no problem is different or there are multiple problems. How? Yeah.
It's not a different problem.
Yeah.
That RTGS fraud was already there. It is there.
But you found different things. One more. Yeah, yeah.
They were having leads from various sides. You will
Yeah.
be shocked. They were also purchasing certain big time medical equipment, important medicine, crores of rupees, which were not required at all. So they were only done basically to have other ulterior motives.
Yeah. So it means you have to widen your scope when you are going there,
No, see,
finding this kind of things.
it's a very good point you have made.
Kamal Kishore.
See, you don't widen your scope because otherwise they are not going to pay more fees for that. That is also very important. But it is important that as a good investigator, see, you are here, you are in a noble profession, you want to assist the client. You have to do a check. Like supposing if you go to a doctor and you say, I'm having a running nose and I have this, you will also check your heart, you will also check your lungs, this, that. And if you find that a heartbeat is poor, you cannot say, you come to me for your cold and sinus problem. Why should I bother about this? That you cannot do. You should do it as a good human being, you should do it. Otherwise, don't ask for God. I agree.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah. This is something that I have prepared basically to see whether, because in any one, you will not get 5 points. You may get 1 point which that person has forgotten, which you should be able to find. That was the intention. I'm sorry, this really is a test paper, question paper. Okay. Sorry.
Sir, usually in case of regular audits, we go with the assumption of belief that we are not doing the investigation.
Correct.
But when it comes to forensic, you are called to prove something.
Correct.
You are guided. So how to come out of that? Because you will be guided by one side by one team and you will be guided by one side to other team.
Yes, also,
Pawan Agnihotri.
Pawan. See, Pawan has said that if you are going into an audit, in an audit it is believed that there is no investigation to be required. You are performing an audit, and therefore you only audit procedures, accepting all the documents, etc., be realistic and correct. Whereas in a forensic audit, there is a suspicion that something is being misused. Okay. Now, first, on a very straightforward macro answer based in this type of case. See, what will happen is, if some fraud is learned, not make an investigation, it means that you have to keep your eyes and ears open. And for that, you have to keep parameters in mind. One parameter is to see whether you know the auditor. The auditor is your own. Say that we made an attempt within our audit considerations, we tried to expand our thing to see that these things are there. But if you completely say that no, we just went by whatever documents they gave us, in current times, you may not be sort of absolved. You already, at least at the very least, I think also legal as a professional, that you have to tell them that during the course of a finding, this is there, the risk of this is very much there. Please do get into it. That must come in your black and white in your report also. Because it's very important. You've done your job very well.
To become a forensic auditor. Just that first step to be started and the confidence to be garnished with will make you a forensic auditor. That is not a routine work, mundane job, but an interesting analytical skills coupled with accounting and auditing skills, seasoned with investigation skills, will make you a better forensic auditor. A round of applause for both wonderful sessions by CA Chethan Dalal, sir. Rather, interactive sessions rather. Thank you so much, sir. Members, thank you each one of you for your active participation here. On behalf of members present here and all the managing committee members of Bangalore branch, we thank you, sir. We would like to hand over a memento as a token of gratitude and respect. Can I request Rejo, our MC member, to come out to dais and then do the honors? Thank you so much. We'll break for lunch and then reassemble sharply at 2:20 p.m. for next session. Thank you.